Before getting into the full review in hairy fashion, if you love these characters, DC Comics, and the idea of seeing these characters on screen excites you down to the very sinew of your bones, be excited. There's a lot to love here, but it's clunky and all over the place. You'll wish you'd seen more of every character. Heroes make the briefest of appearances. The Joker is used as a defibrillator sporadically throughout the film, but in portions so slight you're starving for more. But here's the thing. I came home from the film last night, committed to getting a great night's rest with my wife, who's been doing work travel and I miss her, and next thing I know, I'm in a discussion with Paul Dini geeking out about all the things we love about the film. It's a mess, but it's a mess like playing in the mud when you're a kid, or like that crazy mismatched quilt your grandmother made you that felt so fucking good. It's a mess like eating barbecue without a napkin. Not a mess like you shat yourself on an airplane while sitting next to your favorite celebrity. Not a mess like the current election. As a DC, Marvel, Image, Charlton, EC, Gold Key, Classics Illustrated, Underground comic fan, I came away wanting to see it again. Soon. But also wishing that Jeff Johns would finally do the smartest thing DC Films could ever do and give Paul Dini the writing reins upon a Harley Quinn film starring Margot Robbie. There's so much disconnected awesome here that fans can have a great time. But no, you'll leave wanting desperately more. Now, the long form. Woke up Tuesday, August 3rd, 2017, with a singular thought. Oh boy, Suicide Squad. Then, as I checked my phone, I got the oh-so-familiar fart in the face that was social media expelling its West Coast cinematic pheromones, and these stunk. I'm sick of this. Maybe I should just move to Los Angeles. This routine of waking up excited for the next summer blockbuster to only hear from a wailing wall of West Coast misery, it's demoralizing. A buzzkill. Okay, have to shake that off. If there's one thing about the West Coast whiff I've learned this year, it really doesn't mean shit to me. Okay, ignore that noise. Placing the funk in the funk case in the back corner of my wacky mind, and get genuinely excited. Father Geek and I would be taking my nephew Kubla Khan to see Suicide Squad at the Regal Metropolitan Theater here in Austin. This is the same theater I camped with Star Wars fans for over a week in advance for Star Wars Episode 1. I smile. Okay, I should wear my silk Batman tie. When Father Geek arrives, he's wearing one of his Heath Joker shirts. I smile. Dad's a huge Joker collector and has been most of his life. I decide not to mention the online bitching. We load up and head to pick up my nephew. He gets in the car and I immediately say, "No purple or green?" And he's like, "I know. I've got no Joker attire." Uncle thought, this cannot stand. Get boy Joker attire. Now, this is 3:30 p.m. The screening isn't until 7:30 p.m., but it's clear on the opposite side of town where we live. And starting at about 4, the highway's a frigging nightmare. Last week it took Dad and I an hour and 47 minutes to get there. Today, 15 minutes. So we decided to share a great meal at Trudy's, a wondrous Tex-Mex delight from here in Austin. Towards the end of the meal, as I was polishing off a frozen strawberry and banana margarita, Diva Del Mar arrives with a big, gorgeous smile upon her face. She's excited. Suicide Squad. The trailers have been fantastic. However, the trailers have been fantastic because, well, you put Bohemian Rhapsody and cut DC comic images to it, it will always fucking rock. Because you could edit a non-stop vomit video to that music, and people will still pump their fists in the air and headbang. That music simply rules. Intellectually, I know that David Ayer hasn't exactly blown me away yet. That Schwarzenegger film, Sabotage, has curiosity, but was overly cute with reveal after reveal which was being used instead of simply a satisfying story. It had been a great team of actors put together, just like his last film, Fury. Fury I found entirely satisfying from beginning to end, but I'd still prefer to watch Bogart's Sahara for a superior, awesome tank tale. Reporting on movies as they've been made and going through the cinematic sausage factory that is Hollywood, we know things like apparently there were $40 million worth of reshoots to make this more fun, and today's news about editing room hijinks confirm that there was a lot of, shall we say, back and forth between studio and director upon Suicide Squad. As we arrived to the theater, those thoughts began to completely melt away as I saw the fans in line. There were Harley Quinns, a great Joker, and a ramshacked Batman peppering the line. The Texas heat was beating down upon them, but people wore smiles. That's infectious. We were led into the theater about 45 minutes prior to start time. I instantly felt impatient. Come on, the theater's full. Start the movie. Suicide Squad. Every member of the Suicide Squad has a miniature hand grenade, explosive device injected into their neck to keep the members on the right track. Yes, someone will have their head blown off. The movie is messy. Having multiple voices pulling the editing strings is just going to do that. The biggest problem with the film is the structure. They give too much exposition to Viola Davis's Amanda Waller, the ball-busting government badass that came up with the notion of putting a bomb in the head of supervillains so that she can make them do her bidding. What could go wrong? She basically gives us rundowns on the various characters, and it's blocky. The way the film begins is with a segment of Will Smith's Deadshot that establishes his swagger and a bit of Harley Quinn. But both scenes felt out of place. By the time we met Amanda Waller, we've established an awkward film flow. There's a scene, halfway through the movie, or even a little further, where the Suicide Squad has had some action and some setbacks in their mission, and they've decided to say fuck it and have a drink at the bar. You've seen pieces of this scene in the trailers, and putting a group of coerced supervillains in an abandoned bar to throw back some drinks and talk, that should have been the beginning. I give two shit for government characters in the DC universe. They carry zero interest to me. They're the best to get out of the way as quickly as possible, giving the characters their own stories to tell in their own voice would give those stories character, instead of a glib narration by the uninvested storyteller. Ayer and Warner's would have done better to mimic Reservoir Dogs more. Part of the mismatched cinematic quilt thing here is the fact that the film has characters that at their heart are built with the intent of being dark and gritty. But then there's scenes meant to soften and endear them, making them more sympathetic and heroic than being badass and cool. That's the reshoot and multiple editors at work. But here's the thing. While the film is all kinds of helter-skelter, I dig the hell out of it. I know, dog shit monster sounds harsh, but it isn't a dog shit of a monster. It's a monster that looks physically like dog shit. Boring. But I haven't seen it before. Doesn't mean I had to, but now I've seen a dog shit monster. Actually, a whole bunch of them. It's like the biggest puppy shat 'em all over. And when you're goofing with friends, or one's neighbor, dog shit monsters become kinda classic.